A crisis is looming in the judiciary and could have devastating effects on the administration of justice in the country, moments after a 7-judge bench of the appellate court ruled that Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal and her Supreme Court colleague Phillip Tunoi should proceed on retirement after attaining the age of 70 and 72 years respectively. Supreme Court Judge Njoki Ndung'u shelved that verdict and set a June 24th hearing date. Therein lies the challenge. Chief Justice Dr. Willy Mutunga will have retired 8 days earlier. There will also be no bench to hear the Rawal Tunoi petition due to a series of technicalities affecting all the Supreme Court judges.
Yes, there is a crisis there, because quite apart from conflict of interest, quite apart from the fact that there may not be sufficient number of judges in time to hear that appeal, so it affects both, I think, the judiciary in that sense, the appointment of a Deputy Chief Justice in particular, and of course Justice Tunoi.
Rawal, who is contesting her retirement, cannot sit in a matter she has filed in court due to the obvious conflict of interest. Tunoi is on suspension and is also a petitioner in the retirement age row. That effectively means the Supreme Court will be 3 judges less and therefore fail to meet the constitutional requirement on quorum set at least 5 judges.
The Supreme Court, as currently constituted, is not a Supreme Court. There is no Supreme Court in the Republic of Kenya, because Article 165, if you read it, of the Constitution, minimum 5 judges.
The remaining 4 judges are also technically barred from hearing and determining the Rawal Tunoi petition. Dr. Smoky Nwanjala is a member of the Judicial Service Commission that is a party to the case. Justice Ndung'u and her 2 colleagues, Jackton Boma Ojwang and Mohammed Ibrahim, were this month reprimanded by the Judicial Service Commission for staging a go-slow to protest the Commission's decision to direct Rawal and Tunoi to proceed on retirement. The 3 judges also made their opinion on the retirement age known last year during the hearing of a Senate election petition filed by Nick Salat.
Even of those remaining 4 or 5 judges, whether the question of conflict of interest, which would be direct, would be overturned by what is called the doctrine of necessity that the Supreme Court has used to hear matters where there may be some apparent conflict of interest.
Mboya, the immediate former Chief Executive Officer of the Law Society of Kenya, LSK, is preparing to file a supplementary petition to the Judicial Service Commission on Monday to contest Njoki's decision to temporarily set aside the Court of Appeal decision.
She decided to constitute herself into a 1-bench Supreme Court and listen to a matter where she's conflicted, having earlier made observation on the retirement age in the election petition of Nick Salat.
The Chief Justice is back in the country from USA and is expected to provide direction on the matter on Monday.
The intrigues that have paralyzed operations in the highest court in the land reflect the vicious Mutunga succession contest and the scramble for control of the Supreme Court ahead of next year's general election. The Supreme Court has the exclusive mandate of hearing and determining any presidential election petition. Francis Gashuri, Citizen Weekend, Nairobi.